So guys, today is another special day where we are going to present you new Audi RS models. You have already seen the RS e-tron GT Performance, you have seen the RS Q8, also in the performance version. You have seen the RS4 25 years with a very special engine and setup, and today is the last premiere from Malaga, from Spain, because you are going to see the RS3 Facelift that we are the first time able to see here, and of course we are going to show you all the details and changes that this new car has in comparison to our Audi RS3 that we previously had, the pre-facelifted model. And I can already tell you, it's spoiler at this point, that they are, from a visual perspective and from a performance perspective, quite some aspects that have changed, and actually makes me think to go for an Audi RS3 again. Maybe this time not for the Sportback but for the sedan version, because I really like a lot of details that they have changed and updated here. Let's start off with the design, because this is probably one of the biggest changes that they have made. Specifically, the party piece is that rear. You can see at that very nice green Sportback here that we have a diffuser now which is really sticking out wide. We've already seen at the RS e-tron GT performance version that we have a very massive diffuser, but this one is a huge step upwards compared to the one that we have. First of all, because it's coming out a lot further and a lot wider than we had it before, because this part is just thicker. I think at ours it more or less ended right here, so the exhaust tips are even further out. And the best part about it is that we now have this center element. Of course, it's not a Formula 1 fog light, because that would not be allowed with the current German or EU regulations, but it's a reflector and gives that motorsport inspired design. The best part is actually, I don't know if you can see that, is that the diffuser actually has open parts here, similar to the RS e-tron GT Performance. So it actually serves a purpose, that the air is coming from underneath the car, being pulled up, and yeah, just reducing the circulation of air behind the car, which makes the car actually faster, more fuel efficient, and it's not only for design purposes. So you can see at this car that we have the diffuser in matte black, which actually doesn't look too bad. So you have a lot of combinations possible with this car, because you can say this is either matte black or glossy black. We can see that at the sedan version in just a second, and you can choose if you want to have this one in carbon fiber or if you want it in gloss black as well. So there are a lot of choices that you can combine carbon fiber pack with the matte black here. I think it's really cool, and also those side elements just give the car a lot wider look in the end. So they have, let's say, more or less focusing on the rear end, or on the width of the rear end. I think is a very good part. Something that you can also still choose, which this car obviously does not have, is the carbon fiber rear spoiler that we had with our Sportback as well. I personally was a huge fan of that. Some of you probably say, okay, I don't need it, but nevertheless I think it's a very cool element. So that's the first part at the rear. Let's move over to the sedan before the shade is catching the car, in order to see the changes in the front. You can see at this version, of course, we have the performance wheels that formerly the RS3 Performance had, but this time in a diamond cut, polished and black combination, which I think look really good. This car more or less has the same ones that the RS3 Performance had, but this one is actually looking even better, I have to say. Behind that, you still have the possibility to choose either the steel brake, which I found to be very reliable on our car, honestly. Even on higher Autobahn speeds, and braking was no issue at all. So the brake system, even the steel brakes, are very good on this RS3. But of course you still have the possibility to go for the carbon ceramics, which, if you want to do some more spirited driving on racetracks, is of course the right choice. Secondly, very important part before we go further to the design elements of the front, they have now changed the tire. So usually you just had the choice between a label A tire, which is very fuel efficient, and the racetrack Trofeo R tire, which of course neither probably was the best one. Now they have the option, the standard tire is a label C tire, so that has a lot better wet and dry grip possibility and even more ride comfort than the label A. And on the other hand, of course, probably for most purposes will serve similar to the racetrack tire. And for the purists, of course, you still have the possibility to go for the Trofeo R tire, which is then sticky if you want to do track days, if you want to drive on the Nordschleife, or whatever you want to do. There's another plane coming and flying over this location here. Then at the front, you definitely see how much wider the car has gotten. I mean, you can see that from right here. I think it's one of those sweet spots. First of all, the visual width of the car is higher, also based on those carbon fiber flaps which are in and out. And secondly, also this front lip, just, I don't know if it really comes out further, similar to the diffuser which comes out further, but it just makes the car look lower and a lot sportier. Looks better on the Sportback, but also looks better on this Kimura Grey sedan version right here. Then, of course, I don't know if you can see it right here. Yeah, you can see it. We have the new Matrix LED headlights, which have dedicated signature. This racetrack flag signature is only available for the RS3, and this is also something that you will recognize the car more easily on the road, and there's no, let's say, possibility that you are mistaking, for example, a regular A3 for an RS3 or vice versa. So that's a very cool thing. And also the entire grille with the opening, yeah, just looks a lot more aggressive. Something that is not able to choose anymore is the aluminum pack that we had before, or this silver pack, more or less. Some of you could say, okay, probably not so many people chose it, but I found it to be a very, very nice option, and I really loved our RS3 that had the aluminum pack at the front, and also gave this effect that the front looks lower and more aggressive than in the regular part. Last part to the front, you can see that the Audi rings have now changed. It's more plain design, not illuminated yet, maybe. I don't know if that is coming in the future, but nevertheless I think it fits very good. The entire rings and the entire grille is coming a bit lower, fits very well to the character. Again, the entire car is looking wider and lower. Let's take a look at the rear now for the sedan version, because I think it's really, really good. Before we step inside, I'll tell you also a bit more about the performance and driving capabilities. We have the regular rear lip here. If I'm not mistaken, there should be the option similar to the bigger wing, or the big wing more or less on the Sportback, that you also choose a bigger rear wing on the boot lip, as a boot lip here. And of course at the rear you see the new facelift signature, and you can see at this car, it's very bright, maybe we have to park it or repark the car. You can see right here that we have carbon fiber now combination with gloss black diffuser, which also looks very, very good. So let's take a look at the green version right here. Also, I think that front looks more aggressive, but I'm personally a fan of the Kimura Grey. And of course, still those carbon fiber parts here on the outside make the car wider and the openings bigger. But nevertheless, I'm still a fan, if you compare that, how the front lip looks in the Kimura Grey setting. Maybe probably also because the sun is shining on it now, but you probably know what I mean. It's a very, very nice thing. Something before we jump inside, I can already tell you, at the end of the video we will also give you more sound clips of this car. They have really enhanced the sound of the car. I mean, this is truly amazing, because we're now, was it 3-4 years further down the road in development, and of course also in regulations, and they have still, let's say, although being fully compliant, EU compliant exhaust, the RS Sports exhaust now sounds better than before. I can tell you that as a previous RS3 8Y owner, that we had the RS Sports exhaust, and this one definitely, although this is of course a surrounding here where maybe you get some backfire captured more easily, the sound is better and it's crisper. And they told us something that we cannot show today, but they told us that even on the go, once driving, more or less a short and small backfire and some burbling from the exhaust is back in the RS3. And I think this is what many of us waited for, because it just gives so much more emotion to the car. I think that's overall, I think also the theme of the facelift. Enhanced design for more emotion, enhanced color and let's say material combinations for more emotion. We have more sound in the end, which of course delivers that 5-cylinder theme further on, and also the driving capabilities are greatly enhanced. And for that, let's maybe jump inside, because I'm more or less, yeah, it's getting very, very hot out here, to show you some of the cool parts inside. So first of all, for driving capabilities, everybody will be very happy to see this. We have bucket seats in here, the bucket seats that we have seen from the RS3 Performance before, and that we have of course also seen in the RS4 Competition Plus. Actually, let's turn the car on, because it's not possible to withstand here the heat out there. You can already, maybe now the climate control of course is getting very, very hot, but you can already hear from inside, besides the seats that we have just seen, which just look simply amazing with that yeah, very, very comfortable setting, and they also feel very comfortable. We have a very nice steering wheel coming to this car. In this car actually we have the standard leather, but we have top and bottom flattened. We have the additional satellite push to pass buttons. Was it in the RS3 e-tron GT? Here it is for directly going to the race mode or performance mode, and it's going to the your personal RS setting. In the other car, we can jump in over in the sedan in just a second. We have this in dynamic car as well, so more or less the successor of Alcantara, and then it fits very well to the interior pack, where you have also this part in dynamic car, and you can even have the colored elements here and the red and green stitching still. Something as well, you can go into the settings. I think we have it here for the interior settings of the virtual cockpit. You can now change the setting to the RS ref counter. So this is something which more or less looks like we had it on the R8 before. This is RS specific and gives you even more performance here. Let's do some refs inside. Maybe we'll put it into dynamic first to have a bit more fun. Let's see. Let's lower the windows, although it's totally hot in here. Let's listen to that. I think that doesn't sound too bad, honestly. Get back to the regular mode and get back to a closed window, so that we have climate control. Before we talk about straight line and cornering performance, let's head over into the other car. I will actually turn this one off now and show you the dynamic car parts in the other car, because I think that's very interesting. But I have to turn on the engine here as well because it's just so hot in here. It feels like 40 degrees or even higher. I have to drink a lot. The climate control is running here, but of course without the engine that is not really helping. We have the regular seats in this car, but you can already see we have the Dynamica steering wheel in here, which is very nice. Turn down the, I don't know why it's low here always. Could be a bit easier. The Dynamica steering wheel in here with the red center part with the red stitching, and you also have the red parts in here, and of course you can combine that with the bucket seats here as well. So then you would have Dynamica bucket seats, Dynamica steering wheel. You could even say Dynamica panel. Here this one is the matte carbon now, which is also of course a choice that you can see right here. Very, very nice. And inserts in the doors are also in Dynamica with the red stitching you can see right here. And now we have of course regular stuff from the A3. It's like illumination in the center console, and illumination in the cup holders, or in the cup holders here, in the iPhone charger port right there. And also the inserts here have a dedicated pattern which is only available for the RS3. It looks a bit different than the S3. At least this is what they're told. I wouldn't have had to recognize it, but this is what the people told us here. Talking about performance now, this car, and you probably already read it, still has the 400 horsepower and the 500 Newton meters of torque, but we have a lot of revised software stuff, specifically with the suspension, that we could also of course experience once we would be on the road. Of course the car, once we go to the drive select here, has the mode torque rear. So now we have the possibility to really go into the drift mode, more or less. It also says torque rear in here, and the torque splitter was part of this car before. But something which is changing, or which has changed now, is that we have the possibility now to have torque vectoring braking. This is something how they called it. So that more or less means that not only the clutches on the rear axle left and right open to turn the car into the corner, but they can also brake the inner wheels, that the car is turning into the corner more easily, and you can have a faster exit speed right there. So it's more or less what they have shown us on the Formula 1, that due to a very easy turning into the corner, you can put the car straight easier and have a more faster exit speed. So it's more or less like a slow in, fast out concept on this car as well. And that means that not only once I go to the torque rear setting, which is more or less something for closed racetracks only, but also if I'm driving on the racetrack in performance mode, you will realize a more agile driving and probably even a better timing on a racetrack. So something I wanted to say as the GoPro just turned off due to the heat in southern Spain here, this is actually this torque braking system, in addition to the torque splitter in the rear, is actually something that we already experienced with the S3. Of course, it has a different mapping, a different setting, which is not comparable to the R3, but nevertheless, we already realized that the turn-in of the S3 was very, very sharp and very nimble. And if let's say have adapted this same technique on the R3, that's a very, very cool thing. So without further talking, I'm really looking forward to your comments, what you think about this upgrade. I'm really looking forward to drive this car as soon as they have the dynamic driving event, and yeah, talk to you under the videos, in the comments on Instagram, etc. And really looking forward what your choice and spec would be, because I honestly have to say that this upgrade is worthy and makes this a car that I would potentially want again, an R3 that was better than the one that we had before.